Hello everyone, this is Harless58 signing on to do a video review of the iPhone XS Max. As you guys know, I'm a longtime Android user up until recently, where I obviously purchased this here iPhone. This is the 256 gigabyte version. So go ahead and give you guys my impressions after using the device for a week and see how difficult the switch was, or how easy the switch was. So first of all, let me go ahead and go over all of the things that I disliked, and then I'll go over the things that I liked. So obviously the first thing that I disliked the most was the price. This is a pretty expensive device. And if you really are comparing it to some of the Android counterparts, on paper, and this is why everything on paper isn't, it doesn't really line up the same. But if you're comparing this to, like, say, the Galaxy Note 9, on paper, the Galaxy Note 9 blows this out of the water. It just offers way more. It's a tough sell to me, in my opinion. If you obviously, if you're asking somebody who's unbiased, and it doesn't really matter which ecosystem they're part of, but if you're comparing the Note 9 or even the S9 Plus, whatever, to this, that has something with fast charging out of the box, fast wireless charging, comes with the SD card, it's waterproof. Now this is IP68 as well. It's like it has that infinity display, the curved edges, really great design, fingerprint scanner, and it has the iris scanner, face unlock. It literally has almost any and everything that you can have inside a phone. And then you have this, which has, maybe it checks half the boxes, if that, so it's a tough sell on paper, but I don't believe that tells the whole story, as we'll see as I continue to. So for the price, this is a pretty expensive device, as we all know. Also, another thing, if you're an Android user and you're switching over, apps. A lot of the apps here on the iPhone you have to pay for. Unfortunately, on Android, a lot of them are free because I think that they offer ads and things like that. But generally speaking, I think the way the market works is iPhone users or Apple users, they're willing to spend a little bit more, obviously, on their device. And so because of that, the apps cost more money. And then even still, some apps in general that would be, like I said, would be free, now you have to pay for them. Or they even have some that have like a recurring monthly fee, which is crazy, really. I mean, in my opinion, at least from coming over from the Android ecosystem, like call recording apps, they want to charge you like a monthly fee to call record. You can buy an app, you can get some for free on Android, and then you can pay like $5 and you can have it for the lifetime. There's no monthly subscription fee, which is crazy. Something else, if you're an Android user also, there's no haptic feedback when typing. To me, it's a little head scratching. I don't know why they don't have that. I mean, especially with this, I do think that they do a really good job with the vibrator, the motor in here. And then plus you have the, I forget what they have, or you can press hard on one side and it like vibrates. I mean, here, this is the wallpaper, but you can, I forget what it's called, but it's a feature that Apple has where you can touch really hard and you can like press down, and that motor is really nice. It gives you really good feedback. And so I'm surprised they don't have a haptic engine for the haptic feedback just for typing on the keyboard. It's really, if you've ever used an Android device, you know what I'm talking about, and it's a great sensation when you're typing on the phone and you get that response. Unfortunately, you don't have that here. Also, there's no always on display, as you guys can see. I mean, I miss it a little bit. I do. You can just look at your screen and you just know the time. You can see notifications and whatnot, things like that. And I will say that it's made it a little bit harder for me to adjust to seeing my notifications. But, I'm still trying to give it the benefit of the doubt because it's a new device and I want to get used to it, to seeing. But I will say that sometimes I'll have a lot of notifications and I won't know, to be honest. And I have to go searching to find out where my notifications are. I mean, there's a way you can pull it up. So go ahead and raise it to wake. You can get notifications from here if you swipe from the top of the screen. But sometimes it's pretty cluttered. And so the always on display, to me, it does help out because you can see specifically what apps have notifications. Obviously, you can just swipe over and you can see here which apps have notifications as well. But my Gmail, generally, I don't read a lot of my messages because I have so much spam and junk, unfortunately, in some of my accounts. So when that says I have 1,000 messages, that's, it's like nothing new to me. I don't really know if there's anything important that came through. And then also things like I use Allo for my my friends and my wife, she doesn't have an iPhone, so I use that to communicate. And sometimes, I won't see those notifications just because I'm used to like that always on display. So takes a little bit of getting used to. No multi-window support. Don't know if that's ever going to come to the iPhone, maybe eventually, but when it's not something that I use all the time, but on YouTube, for example, on Android, you can pull up a YouTube video and you can watch it, and then you can pull up like, Google Chrome, and it'll drop down to a little small picture-in-picture box. So you can surf the net while it's still here in the small box, which is pretty cool to me, and I actually do that a lot. It'll still play the audio in here, but you won't actually get that small picture-in-picture box, unfortunately. Gestures. So I won't say that gestures took a while to get used to, because Android Pie, it's crazy how much companies bite off of each other. But now with the new Android Pie update, these they really pretty much, I don't want to put anybody on blast with my messages, but pretty much the gestures are very similar, which to me is, like I said, crazy. But they're always biting each other back and forth. But that's pretty much Android blatantly ripped off what Apple has done with gestures. So because of that, and me using Android Pie on the Pixel 2, it wasn't as hard for me to adjust to. But maybe for some other people it might be, especially with like no back button over. It's a little bit, since this phone is a little bit bigger, sometimes you're in apps and you want to go back. This is a two-handed device. There's no back button down here, so you have to hit up top to go back. And I chalk that up to just the fact that, being an Android user, not using the iPhone. So, whatever. I said no back button at the bottom. Yeah, so that's everything that I disliked. Now, what do I like? I think the thing that really makes me, so there's one thing whenever I've had an Android device, I've always really liked the Android device. But then, when something else comes along, I'm always like, I want to switch to that. I want to switch to that. I want to switch to that. And so I've always, just constantly switched. With the iPhone, I've seen a couple of the new Android phones that are going to be announced, like the Pixel 3 is going to be announced soon. I've seen those leaks. I've seen the OnePlus 6T, and those all look, like feature-rich devices. But the one thing to me that I think keeps iPhone users on iPhones is the ecosystem. MKBHD made a great video about that not too long ago, but it really is just, I guess some people say it's like a walled garden, but because of the ecosystem, if you have a MacBook like I do, if you have an Apple Watch, you have the EarPods, you have the Apple, the iPhone, it's just so easy to switch between things. I can have a conversation here with iMessage on my device, leave it here, go to my computer, and just pick up where I left off with everybody else that has an iPhone. I can do that. Android has started to do some of those things with like Android messages for web, and then with Allo for web, but it's just not the same. It's not as well put together. That's one thing. A lot of the things that Apple does, they're very well polished and very well put together. And that's not the same for Android. And so that actually goes a long way. When you're using a device, that's so expensive, you want things to be polished. And then unfortunately, a lot of the Android devices, because Apple's sort of at the top in terms of pricing, they've tried to reach that top. So they'll go maybe be like a couple $100 cheaper than Apple, but that's still pretty expensive. $1,200 for a phone, you're spending another $1,200 for an iPhone. Let's say you spend $1,000 on the Note, that's still $1,000. So you want like close to that experience. And unfortunately, with you just don't have that. Like I've had the Galaxy Note, I've had the S9 Plus, I've had the Galaxy the Gear Watch, the Gear S3, I've had the Galaxy Buds, like the wireless headphones. It's just not the same. There's no continuity between the devices. You might as well just be using 3 separate devices. With the earbuds, I put them on, I open up the earbuds case, they connect to my phone, you get the little screen right there, put them in my ear, it has that in-ear detection, and it can just start playing. Oh, I don't want to use my phone? Okay, cool. They automatically connect to my MacBook. I didn't have to do anything else to set that up. Oh, I don't want to use either one of those devices. I'm going to go outside, I'm going to go for a walk or run, I'm going to take out the trash, whatever the case may be, I'm going to walk the dogs. Oh, I'm just going to connect it to my watch, and I'm going to listen to music off of my watch to the earbuds. And I didn't have to do that extra step of connecting it via Bluetooth. It was already in there because of my account. I think that's like Apple's continuity feature. So that goes a long way. I can't really speak enough about it, but that to me is really what has made me. So let me go ahead and bring that all the way around. So I've looked at, and I've seen those other devices that are being announced, but you are not going to get that complete experience, at least in my opinion. And I have used my fair share of different Android devices, but if I get that OnePlus 6T, I'm not going to get that complete experience with my MacBook or with an Apple Watch, because OnePlus doesn't have a watch. There's no real Android watch that's out there that's like the watch. There's nothing like that. You're just not going to get that full experience. So when looking at those other devices, I'm like, yeah, those devices are nice, but what about everything else? But again, that goes to expense. You'd have to have everything else to get that complete experience. So something else, sorry, that I do like obviously is the build quality. Very well put together device. It feels really good in the hand. Has some weight to it, which is good. It's like, feels substantial, makes you feel like you made a good purchase, because it's so heavy. Not super, super heavy, but it just has like a nice weight to it. And I like the color as well. The design, as I already stated, I like this design. It's fine. Some people don't like the notch. They say that, Apple, they did hide it with this wallpaper. But to be honest, it's not that bad. I will say in some videos, it sucks when, you get that little notch here on the side. Unfortunately, like, let me pull something up, I guess, on YouTube, where you do get that. Oh, I got it in airplane mode, so let me turn on my Wi-Fi. So where you do get that notch, and unfortunately you get some of the things blocked out, but all in all, I really don't think that's a big deal. And some of the apps now, like with Netflix, okay, let me turn it on. So here, where you get this. Oh, that was during the video. So here, where you get this notch here, unfortunately, so it's just the video playing. Another thing that I like is the sound quality. The audio is really good. Some people said that, these are better than the S9. I don't know. I mean, the S9 Plus has some really good speakerphones on the device. So, I think that's a wash. Some people will say that, some people won't, but I think that they're both, and I'll do a full review later on comparing both devices, but I think that the audio is really good on this, don't get me wrong, but I do think that S9 Plus with the Dolby Atmos it's no slouch either. Another thing, just speaking on that continuity feature one more time, is with my MacBook, I can actually just unlock, this has nothing to do with the phone, but I can unlock my MacBook with the Apple Watch, which is cool. Let's see, went over design, fast charging. So yes, you have to pay more money to get the fast charging, but once you do, it really does charge pretty fast. Charges faster than the S9 Plus. Not as fast as like the OnePlus design, not that quick, but it definitely charges pretty quick. But it is unfortunate that you have to pay extra to get that cable and the box. Another thing is the quality of apps. So yes, you have to pay more for the apps, but the quality it's really good. It's top notch. Like MyFitnessPal, for example, which I use a lot. That on here is, in my opinion, it's smooth, and it flows very well in comparison. Plus, I like the fact that they keep, like, these things are at the bottom. On Android, you have the hamburger menu. That's not a knock on the app, I guess, because that's just the way that Android has it. You have to have it over there. But I like the fact that it's down here at the bottom. It's easier for one-handed use. So I really do like the quality of apps. Even to me, the Google apps, I think, are better on the iPhone than they are on Android. So yeah, that's that. Camera's pretty good. I guess I can show you guys some photos that I took here, but I think that the camera is probably just as good as the Pixel 2. Maybe the Pixel 2 is a little bit better, slightly, but I do think that this takes some really nice photos. So this here is in like some lower light, not the best light. And I always think when you're looking at these YouTube videos of photos, it's tough to see, through the phone, or through the camera lens. But this is a good picture. I don't think that the portrait mode is as good as the Pixel 2 for sure. And the whole beauty gate issue, I don't have a problem with that. I think Flossie Carter made a good point. I mean, I'm darker skinned, and so I think that it shows well. This is a really good picture here that was taken. And then another thing that I like, and because I'm coming from Android, is I forget what it's pressed when you can just press that and you get the little live photo. I need to find out the name of that feature, but it's cool. So yeah, so camera quality is pretty good. Like I said, just as good as the Pixel 2, if not, you know, maybe I would say just as good, or just slightly the Pixel 2 may have a better edge, because I think portrait mode on the Pixel 2 is a little bit better. Matter of fact, I have a portrait mode photo that I should go ahead and show you guys. Here we go, that I took of my dog Chuck. So here, this was a nice picture I took of him. Pretty nice. And if you guys want to see some video comparisons, picture comparisons between the Pixel 2, the S9 Plus, and the iPhone XS Max, let me know. I did take some pictures, and this video already is getting pretty lengthy, so I'm not going to put that on this, but if you guys want to see that, I can definitely put that video together. Face ID also is pretty good. Yes, it's unfortunate that we don't have the fingerprint scanner, but Face ID is, I would say it's about 90% to 94% accurate most of the time. And the tilt to wake feature on the iPhone is pretty nice too. You just lift it and it just comes on. Like, yes, that seems like commonsensical, I guess you would say, but even with the Wear OS and with the Apple Watch, a lot of the times, so with Wear OS on the Android Wear Watch, you do the tilt to wake feature and the time wouldn't come on. Like, that happens a lot, and so you have to constantly do that. But the Apple Watch, it's never happened where it doesn't come on. And the same thing with the iPhone. It's like it tilts and it comes on. It's, like I said, it seems pretty, you know, common sense, but for some reason, I don't know if the gyroscope or whatever they're using in those devices, maybe they're not as good, whatever the case may be, but it just works, which is sort of the theme with the iPhone. It just works. And battery life. Ooh, wow. I've been getting great battery life on the iPhone XS Max. Way better than the S9 Plus. Like, it's not even a comparison. My cousin just got one of these as well, and so we've been sending each other screenshots. I don't know if I saved is this from mine or is this from him? Yeah, so I think this is one day where I got like 9 hours of screen on within 24 hours. I think this was like it. I charged it because I wanted to get really down low, and then I charged it to 100%, and I used it throughout the day. Last charge at 9:38 a.m. It doesn't have the time. This was at close to 6. Yeah, 6 p.m. So, what was I gonna say? And I was like using this thing. Like, there's no idle time. I was on here watching YouTube videos. As you can see, 34%. Oh, this is a screenshot, so you can't look through those things. But I was using this. It was nothing idle at all. So I've gotten great battery life. For sure, if I'm not using this device, I think I can get 2 days of battery life on it. You know, like just from texting, phone calls, and things like that. But I used my device. I'm a power user. Plus, you know, I wanted to test that battery as much as I could. So I definitely was getting a lot of screen on time with this device. Yeah, and then the one last thing that I like about this phone is this toggle here where you can just switch it to vibrate and then switch it to loud. It's a tiny feature which they've had on the iPhone for quite a while, and for some reason Android hasn't adopted it. I know the OnePlus has it, but it's a great feature to me, in my opinion, at least coming from the Android side of things. So that's my sort of video review. If there's anything you guys want to see in particular with this device, please let me know. If you guys want to see the review with pictures between the S9 Plus and the Pixel and the iPhone XS Max, please just let me know. Overall, I have been enjoying this phone a lot, and I don't see myself switching. I'm going to end up using this. Something else, I mean, there's other things that I didn't touch on, like AR emoji. Actually, I think that Samsung is AR emoji. I think it's Animoji on iPhone. Those are pretty cool. I like using them. I actually use them a lot. So those are cool. I use them. It's something fun. iMessage. A lot of the people that I work with have iPhones, and so using iMessage is just really simple and easy. I think that app, again, I think that that's part of the ecosystem. Having that app, you can play games within the app. You know, you can send those emojis. It's a really nice, it's a draw. And I think that's why people stick with the iPhone. Because like I said, in my experience, I don't think that I'm going to switch back to Android. I think I'm going to stay with the iPhone. Just because it's like once you get in, you realize why people use this device. It just works. And it's like, well, why would you switch out? Like what, there has to be something that, and it's not just the phone itself, but I think that there has to be something else apart from the device that can give you that complete experience. Like I said, there has to be like, because Google doesn't have, yeah, you have the Chrome laptop, but you're not going to get that full experience, that continuity. You're not going to get that watch experience. You're not going to get those wireless headphone experience. And I think that's what companies have been trying to do. They try to imitate Apple in that way, but Apple offers something like the smallest details that just allow it to work. Like I said, for the headphones, the fact that you pair it to one device and it pairs to the rest of them. Yeah, that's tiny and you think that's not a big deal, but it actually, it's a feature that I like, I enjoy as the user, the end user. So sorry, this video got pretty lengthy, over 20 something minutes, and I probably didn't do much with the phone, but so it's pretty much just me expressing my thoughts from the Android side of things and switching over to the iPhone and just being in that ecosystem. And, you know, sometimes you need to switch over to see, you know, what the other side is offering. And in this case, I'm glad that I did. I have definitely enjoyed my time using the iPhone, and I don't see myself switching back. And more than likely, I'm going to see if I can get my wife to switch as well. She's listening to me record this video, and so she just looked up like that's not gonna happen. So last year I tried to get her to switch. I think I posted some unboxing videos of the iPhone 8 Plus, and the iOS 11 just had a bunch of bugs. It just didn't work out, and it was the horrible time for us to try and switch because she saw that and she was like, look, I hate this device, I hate this thing. Apps weren't downloading, the phone would randomly shut off. There was just so much crap that she had to put up with. And so she had it for like a week and we took it back and she got another Android device. But with iOS 12, I really think that they got a lot of the bugs out. I haven't had no reboots at all. The only issues that I've actually had with this device have been with Google apps, which is weird enough. So yeah, so overall, like I said, Hogs58 signing off. Sorry the video was so long. I enjoy the device. Any questions, comments, concerns, please let me know down below. Leave a thumbs up if you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys later. Peace.